So, middle of the night, I stopped off at the beach and got some wind-blown, very fine sand. This has now been dropped onto the layout where I put a load of PVA. Okay, that's going to be my concrete stroke, dirt stroke loading area. Okay, there's my roadway. Obviously, it's not going to look like that afterwards. It's going to be removed, the bulk of the sand, so I'll have like a sandpaper style texture, which should look a little bit like tarmac, concrete, what have you. Okay, can I actually go further in there as well? Not massively far, because obviously I'm going to have a lot of ballast down as well. So I've just gone up to the edges. So that's just going to hopefully stick down nicely, and then I'll have like a rough sort of texture, and that'll be another part of it done. And then obviously I've got to paint it sort of like grey and then weather it, you know, blend it in with browns and, you know, lighten it, darken it, shade it, whatever you call it. So yeah, we're getting there. Had to shift everything out of the way. Really should take everything off, but you know me. You know me by now, don't you? Maybe I'll take it off later to drop the sand off, and then I can just get up with a dustpan and brush. The easiest way to take off the surplus is to literally stick it on its side. So there's all my surplus sand on the floor, which I can brush up. Let's go a bit closer so we can get a look. So there we go. So that will hopefully dry a little more, because it's currently by the radiator. And then when that's done, I'll put some watered down PVA on, and I'll go a little bit further up there. In fact, I might do all that bit round there where the platforms are based. So very restricted on the space I've got here right now, but that should give you a basic idea, so you can see what's what. That will be greyed and browned and so on, and become my road and my gravel and my tar. That's looking a little bit too much like a track. I really went a bit wrong there on the on the glue, but I'm sure that's recoverable. Well, it will be recoverable somehow. Looking good though. I've glued and sanded that whole bit. Where it was dry, I've gone over with diluted PVA mixed with a little bit of grey paint, which has helped to flatten it out a bit. So my roadway is looking a little bit better, because it was quite ridged, as is this area. This area can look a little bit rough, that's fine, because that's like a rough old car park. So now I need to put some more sand on that bit. I've got it in there. So this, still haven't worked out what I'm doing in that central oval. But my hills and dales, they've dried quite nice. Okay, there's still some water under there, some splodges. I'll go over that with green again. Still a bit too blue, that green. So I'll go over with coat with more yellow in to warm it up and brighten it up, and I'll put some black in to darken it, if that makes sense. Darker and brighter. Hope it's looking quite nice. For the luminosity and the vividness and the saturation, I guess. So yeah, I think that bit's gonna look alright. I'm not currently that happy about the road, but that might look better once it's complete. Hopefully all this is going to look good, but you can see better how the track is looking now, which is quite good, because I've taken all the building stuff off, obviously. See, it's quite a nice layout, that. Right, so I've finished with the sand painting now, making my textured concrete surface. You can see that there's a different kind of finish to the plain flatness there. What I had originally thought was emery cloth or painted sandpaper, which if I've used before. I'm glad I went with sand because I've got a bit of a colour variation as well that doesn't look completely uniform grey, if that just focuses. There you go, see how I've got sort of like brownish coming through from the sand, so that's quite nice. I've gone up the sides, I've just got to do a bit of cleaning, a little bit of housekeeping. So that's all looking good. The next stage will be the grass, okay, which is going to be laid on here, sprinkled on here. And from there, it'll be the ballast. Put a coat of a more yellowy green on there, darken it up with a bit of the dark grey. So there's a nice, thick, protective, hard coating of paint on the terrain now. So that's good. That's all ready for PVA and scatter. This is all dried really nice. It's got a lovely texture to it. Feels great. Looks great. Looks massively different to the bare plain sort of side. And like I said earlier, the colour and texture difference looks good too. So that's looking like it's getting there. I still can't make up my mind what to do in this oval here. I'm not sure how to build terrain on it because I haven't got any of the foam board left. Could do it with card, I suppose. Card and paper mache. Not too high. Don't want it to look too artificial. I do want to block things a little. It's a difficult one. It's all nice and dry now. Decided to bite the bullet and bought myself a small sheet of Kingspan thermal board instead of the 8 by 4 sheets that I thought was all that was available. So this is 1.5 by 4 foot, so a quarter of the size, £7.50. I've cut it in half. As you can see, I've spread liberally loads of PVA on there, which is just soaking in slightly. Basically, I poured a load on from the bottle and then scraped it across with a store card. So now I'm just going to turn that over. Put that somewhere. And put that in place here. Right. The position is not totally critical for the simple reason that I'm going to be shaping this, so I'll be cutting down, slicing down, making embankments. So I'll use spare from the offcuts to fill in this area here, and along there. I might even put in an embankment around here. This bit is of course spare, so that will give me a kind of landscaped, shaped, less flat, more scenic kind of area in that central oval. So all I need to do now is make sure that I keep it nice and flat so it can bond to the surface, and that is going to be with a mixture of Rick Stein and Jamie Oliver books, because I love me cooking, and these will do just the trick at weighing it down, holding it flat. There we go, all weighed down nicely. Let's leave that to set. I've got the heating on, radiator's right there, so tomorrow afternoon I reckon I can start cutting, and then I can start sticking the other bits. So I had the faithful carving knife out and I've shaped this. It's very rugged terrain. I might make it a little bit less lumpy, but not sure yet. I've got loads of offcuts which are in a box around here, so they're going to start going on. For example, take that piece there, that could go alongside there, so I've got to shape it because I don't obviously want a rectangle. Okay, so that's breaking it up a bit more. Just not sure how realistic that's going to look. Obviously I've got station in there and I've got the bridge in there, so I need to come out a bit. That will need to be trimmed more there. That's got to come in tighter. You get the general idea.